Today we are going to be comparing some of the biggest, best hearing aids in the world. We want to compare the Resound VIVIA, just hit the market, to the Phonak Infinio Sphere, and the Oticon Intent.
Man, I feel like we're getting ready for the heavyweight champion of the world. Like,
these are the heavyweights.
Are you ready? You know, this is exciting, man.
These are the
is Mike
three...
Tyson gonna walk in? I don't know who the heavyweight champions are anymore, but
yeah, no.
I'm just like, who's gonna knock us out? Like, this is fun.
These are the three biggest hearing aid companies in the world. You know, most people don't realize that the three biggest hearing aid companies in the world are Phonak, Oticon, and Resound.
Yep, we got two Danish and one Switzerland company, and these guys are heavyweights. And so let's go right into it. So I had the privilege of going down and having a deep dive experience, going right into the throes and the heart of what is this new VIVIA, this VIVIA product that launched by Resound. So it's the Resound VIVIA, and it's the smallest hearing device we've ever seen that has the artificial intelligence, the dual chip system, and is a specialist for background noise. So one of its big pros right off the bat is that it's super small, and it is a good looking, very nice fitting, sits on the ear really well, ergonomically correct and all those things, but a very good looking device, which is always a plus when you're talking about hearing health, right? But the thing that sets it apart is it's got this new dual chip. Now, the first group or the first company to launch a dual chip system was the Phonak Infinio Sphere. So it's the new Sphere product. But Resound, you know, a couple months later launches theirs, and to our surprise, it's not huge. It's not a large device like Phonak. It's a very small device. So right off the bat, people are super interested in this Resound product.
Yeah,
it's exciting.
If we're comparing the two, I think that's a great place to start. Physical size.
Physical stuff.
Because the Resound product is small. I guess it's the Mike Tyson. It's the 5'9". It's the little guy.
Yeah.
You've got the Infinio Sphere. It's like the Lennox Lewis. It's like the big reach, big guy.
I can reach you across the table.
You know, in our experience with the Sphere, we talked about it a lot when the Sphere first launched. We were a little concerned about the size because most people, when you look at two hearing aids side by side, you are going to be drawn to the smaller device.
Yep. But
when people have worn the Sphere, most of them say, oh, it's no big deal. Once it's behind my ear, you know, you might have longer hair, it covers it anyway. It's really hasn't been a huge problem. But if you're looking at the two side by side, you're gonna say, I like the size of the Resound VIVIA.
So one of the things that the Resound VIVIA did is they took 13.5 million sentences in noise, and they said, we're going to pre-program it. So we're talking female speech, child speech, you know, adult male speech, different types of voices, different languages even. Different scenarios as in how loud was the noise and what does your voice do with that noise when you're in such a competitive environment. And so they took all of these sound bites, loaded it into that second chip. It's a deep neural network, and its ability to access this and allow it to communicate simultaneously with their 360-degree chip, which is trying to find where the speech is in your environment. It's using beamforming technology. It's using different sound levels that are pre-programmed that way as well. And so you have two chips that are essentially trying to give you, and this is their term, a clear focus, trying to give you the most clear focus possible. And so they use another term called intelligent focus because it's using the deep neural network, so it's trying to make intelligent decisions based on what you're hearing. And the clearness of it is based on where's your head, wherever your head is pointing is kind of essentially saying what you're most interested in. And within where your head is, it spans out kind of like a piece of pie that's pretty big, and it's just kind of like scanning for the best speech possible, trying to reduce noise, but bring in the best speech possible. Just within that, we'll say almost a 90-degree, but probably pretty close to a 90-degree angle. And so it's doing several things. It's really exciting, and Resound VIVIA is choosing not to allow that technology to access the dual chip, so having both chips work simultaneously. They're choosing to not allow that to be in their default setting, which is their all-around setting, which helps you hear like a normal ear would hear. It's supposed to be their very best setting for just most environments. they're choosing to use their clear focus, this intelligent focus stuff, only in the second setting or additional settings which are dedicated for hearing in noise. So when you're in noise and it's big and it's robust and it's competitive and super dynamic, they're saying that might be when you want to manually go to a second setting. So it's important to note that the very aggressive speech and noise setting that they have, it's actually a second program. It's not built into their automatic setting.
Should we compare that to the
And that's
the
already
Phonak
different,
Sphere?
yeah.
So there's some similarities in what Resound and Phonak are doing, and then there's also a couple of subtle differences. Both are dual chip systems, and you mentioned that a couple times. What we mean by that is historically hearing aids have had a computer chip that runs the device. It makes all the decisions. It helps you know when you're in noise and in a quiet environment, and this little chip makes decisions based on that, and it does a good job. And historically, hearing aids have used directional microphones as part of this first chip, so that when you get into a noisy place, the hearing aid will go into this beam form, and wherever you're looking, that's what it'll amplify.
Yep.
Both Resound and Phonak use beam-forming directional microphones in their first chip.
And let's be very clear, I'll interrupt. This word artificial intelligence has been happening in hearing aids since probably 04, 05, in the sense that you get into an environment, your hearing device can sense the different listening environment you're in, and it starts making decisions for you. It's using its own intelligence to try to help you out. So this AI concept is not new, but the thing that's new is the dual chip and some of the fancier technologies with beam forming and things like that.
Yeah, that's right. So machine learning and the chip making decisions, that's been going on for a long time. But then the second chip, here's where things get a little bit new. Phonak was the first to have a dual chip hearing aid. The second chip was a deep neural network based artificial intelligence chip. This is where they program in millions, tens of millions of different sounds that the device can recognize and subtract out of the signal. Not just going into a directional mode, it can literally recognize, I don't want this sound, I'm going to reduce it. I do want this sound, I'm going to enhance it. This is a different type of artificial intelligence than we've ever had. Now, a similarity between Resound and Phonak, they are both using a combination of directional microphones and deep neural network artificial intelligence. That's kind of cool. Because as we get into the Oticon product, they're out on directional microphones and some of the traditional stuff. They are solely in on the deep neural network AI stuff. But both Phonak and Resound are using both. One subtle difference is Resound only will allow you to access this second chip, the deep neural network AI chip, in a manual program. You have to physically change the hearing aid from its normal setting to a noise setting. You can do that simply either by clicking a button or from an app on your phone. It's not hard to do, but you have to manually say, go to AI mode. Phonak has it automatically built in, where when you go into a noisy place, the hearing aid is going to decide, whoa, this meets a certain threshold of noise. It's too loud in here. I'm going to kick it over to the AI chip. It does it for you.
I know.
But also it gives you the option of creating a manual setting like Resound, where you can physically go say, go to the AI chip right now.
I want to stay in that. I want to be in that for the next 2 hours. I'm just going to go to that mode. We've dealt with patients, because we've had many patients where the Phonak Sphere product, this Infinio Sphere, and you were talking about the experience as we can actually do data logging where we see not only what the patient's preferences are, like where they go and what kind of environments. We can see how they use their device, like if they like to go to a special setting, how many hours they use it, things like that. But the device actually breaks itself down into how many hours and how much time duration was the device spending in the AI mode or directional mode, or it wanted to turn things down so many hours because you're in noisy environments a lot. It also breaks down the reactivity and the decisiveness and the decisions it's making. So we get a lot of information from data logging.
Yeah, we do. And I have to say I've been disappointed that when I look at the data logging with my patients in the Infinio Sphere, it kicks it over to the AI chip very seldom.
Oh.
Very little. In fact, it's usually 1% of the time. I have a patient, I've seen it as high as 3% of the time, but it very seldom kicks it over. So I always create a manual setting so my patients can say, I want it to be in the AI mode, because it is effective. It's a cool mode.
Yeah, it's very nice.
So the patient can actually physically go into it like we do with the Vivia, because it's such a great feature, and the Phonak chip so seldom kicks it over to it. Now the reason they do that, battery life.
Probably. Little disappointing that here's this dual chip, all this technology, the device is larger because of all this, and it's only kicking over 1 to 3% of the time on most of these patients we're seeing. So, it's low. But it's nice. It's nice that it could do it.
And it's cool to have the option. So for both Resound and Phonak, having the option of saying, go to AI mode, let's go.
Let's go.
But battery life is going to be the concern. That's why Phonak kicks it over to the AI chip so seldom, is because it's such a battery hog.
Yeah.
You'd mentioned to me that Resound kind of said, if you keep it in the AI mode.
That's right. So they show that battery life just in program 1, where you're doing a mix of different things. Maybe you're streaming. Maybe you're using your phone and taking phone calls. Maybe you're just, going through all these different environments. Maybe you use the AI number 2 mode and you jump into that. So kind of a hybrid of all the different environments. It says that the device will be able to go 22 to 24 hours in that normal. If you're just staying in program 1 and you're streaming some, they said the average person will stream about 2 hours a day. That's on the high end. So if you're streaming and you're just kind of keeping it in program 1, it's about 30 hours. So
that's really good, by the way.
Yeah, I was just going to say,
industry leading.
I mean, if the average patient wears their hearing aid 10 to 14 hours a day, when we're talking about 20, 24, and 30 hours a day, these rechargeable batteries are so, in fact,
there's only 24 hours in a day, right?
This is really cool because the Vivia comes in different, forms. It comes in battery and it comes in rechargeability. But Ryan, they don't even put the AI deep neural network ability, this second chip, they don't even utilize it if you're going into the Vivia non-rechargeable. So if you're using a battery product, they said it doesn't have enough power all the time to actively drive a dual chip system. So we couldn't even put that technology in the battery operated levels of the Vivia. The only device that Resound makes is the Vivia rechargeable that has the dual chip system, in other words. So it tells you power. Power is a big deal. If you're looking for the very best performance, you kind of need to go rechargeable.
Gotta go. I was just going to say, if you're thinking in your mind, I have patients come in and say, I've always had disposable batteries. I'm a little nervous to change to rechargeable. I'm thinking I just want to stick with the old disposable battery. Right. Just know if you do that with the Vivia, you will not be able to benefit from the AI chip.
Interesting. So you said earlier to me when we weren't on camera, you said, if I were wearing hearing aids, I'd want to stay in which mode?
I love it in the AI mode.
I know.
Now
it's so quiet.
I'm biased because
it reduces so much. It reduces so much sound.
Sounds so
and
good.
It allows you to just kind of hear whatever you're looking at. It's a really comfortable mode,
right? It sounds so good. And I said too, now I'm coming from a place where I have fairly normal hearing.
Oh, you have very normal hearing. I've checked your hearing.
My hearing, as far as I know, is still normal.
His hearing's better than mine.
And so when I wear these, of course I like it quiet, because I'm putting on an amplifier that's amplifying sound, and so my natural instinct is I like it quieter. But man, these AI modes are nice. They're so quiet, and what they do in background noise is fantastic.
Yeah.
We both had the chance to wear the Vivia ourselves, take it to noisy places, wear the Phonak Infinio Sphere ourselves, even wear the Oticon Intent ourselves. And when you go into noisy places, if you can manually just put it in the AI mode, I would wear it that way all day if I could, but I don't think the device would last all day.
Yeah, and I'm a little different than Ryan in that sense that I really prefer the automatic type settings, that it's doing a lot of things, and I like to hear the sound. I like to hear the sound around me kind of in its fullness. And so it's really a preference, but I love that our patients will have these preferences. They'll have these feelings and these bias, and they'll know what to do. So it's really, the best part is they can choose. There's nothing worse than not having the choice.
It's good to have options.
Good to have options, right? So here I am in this huge auditorium, Caesar's Palace, so fun. And it is buzzing. Like, there is a lot of communication going. We're doing a lot of talking. They have us doing different drills with the hearing devices. And my partner, our partner, sneaks in to the Resound conference. He brings with him, which very gutsy move, but he pulls out of his pocket and puts on the table the Phonak Sphere. So remember, we're at a Resound conference. You bring in the competition hearing aid, seems like a no-no.
That's brave.
That's like a dirty word, or just not right. So he brings it out and he says, Rich, try these in this crazy environment, and then let's try the Resound. And so we're going back and forth. He has them programmed to a flat 50 loss, which by the way is a lot of hearing loss. It's outputting a ton of sound, and so we're really trying to see which product brings it as far as speech clarity, speech focus, and which product can really reduce the background noise. And I'll tell you, it was super exciting. First of all, both the Resound VIVIA and the Phonak Sphere, both of these products did a phenomenal job in their AI mode, in their hear and noise type settings. They really squelched the noise big time. When you go from the normal setting that they come in, and then you go to that manual mode where it's just really focused on you hearing your very best speech and reducing as much noise as possible. They both did just an amazing job. We both were commenting, Barrett and I, about I've never listened to a hearing device that sounds like this in background noise. It was very impressive. I will say that the Resound product to me seemed like I could monitor sound around me, and I felt like it was a little more natural, and it also seemed quieter. But I did feel at times like I wanted to turn the Resound speech part up, like I wanted to go to my app and maybe adjust it just a little bit to get a little more speech. That was my feeling. I, again, don't have hearing loss. I'm just trying this out. The Phonak Sphere also reduced noise, but not quite as much. It wasn't as quiet as the Resound VIVIA, but it was really pretty quiet. But it also seemed to have, like whoever the loudest person was, it really picked them up well, like better than the Resound product for sure. And then if you turned and you were trying to listen, say over here, and then someone started speaking, you didn't quite get them as much. You weren't able to pick up what they were saying hardly at all, just right here, but you could really pick up what was in front of you. So you had to be a little more active maybe with be more intentional with what you were trying to listen to. And I thought it did a good job. I think the Resound product gave a little bigger range of things you could focus on. And then you would have to pick, do you want to turn the speech up a little bit or whatever? So they were different. They were distinctly different. Both products, I was impressed that they take the noise way down. I think Resound took the noise down a little bit more. And then they just attack speech a little bit differently. Super impressed.
Yeah, I'd say both of these products are really, really good, and a lot of it is going to come down to personal preference. Mm-hmm. Some might like the way one performs a little better in noise, some might like another, but these are two heavyweights. These are good products that do a good job in background noise.
Right, and I will say we did not have Dr. Barrett. Barrett did not bring some Oticon Intents with him. He was mainly trying to decide which product, we were both looking at this like, which product does the very best with the dual chip system and the directional mics and the beamforming, and which of these two heavyweights is going to perform the best. So it was really fun.
Let me speak a little bit maybe to this Oticon Intent, because it's a great product too. It's another heavyweight. It's one that patients have done really well with.
Again, a little bigger.
Yeah,
a little bigger, a little chubbier.
It's probably in between. If you're going to go size,
that's right,
Phonak's the biggest, then Oticon's in the middle, and then Resound's going to be the smallest.
Yep.
When you're talking about its ability to go into this AI mode, Oticon is definitely the simplest. And by that I mean, it is going to be automatic, like Phonak. It's going to automatically make the decision on when it needs to use some of this deep neural network stuff. But unlike Phonak and Resound, the user doesn't have a lot of control. The user doesn't have the ability to say, just go to AI mode. Just keep me in AI all the time.
That's right.
You're kind of at the mercy of the machine to make those decisions for you.
And they really they boast about this because they say it should be a transparent experience. You put it in, why would you want to play with it?
And so there's pros and cons, right?
Pros and cons.
Some people might want to just put it in and forget about it and trust it. Others might say, no, I want to be able to have a little bit of control of when I go into that mode.
And do some of that.
Yeah, so a little bit different that way. But again, still a really good product that does a good job in noise.
Yeah. You know what was interesting at this conference down in Las Vegas was they introduced that their opportunity to connect with outside sources like phones and microphones and TV adapters and different things. They've got a technology built in that's called Auracast. And they allowed us to, you set up a little network, which is very easy to do, and the phone pairs with one device. You just have to pair with one. And once a phone recognizes a Vivia or Nexia device by Resound, a hearing device with Auracast built into it, it creates like its own broadcast. And it's really cool. I was sitting in a room with 50 people, and I pulled up my phone, I pulled up my app, or I went to the app, and at the bottom of the app it says, you know, like scan for Auracast broadcasts. So I clicked it and it started looking for Auracast signals. And in our room, we had someone wearing a microphone. She was the presenter, and it found her mic. And so I clicked on it, and all of a sudden, even though she was clearly, I don't know, 50, somewhere between 40 and 60 feet, I guess, I'm in this auditorium, and all of a sudden she's talking to me like she's right here. And it was really cool, and I could see everyone in the room had the ability to tap into that one microphone from the presenter. And we just look at that application and we just think, wow, in the future, how exciting to sit down at a restaurant or go to church and you sit down in your pew and that building, and I know this is coming quick, I mean, I think it's coming quickly, where it'll be an Auracast ready, auditory enhanced environment where it has Auracast, its ability to get the people who are talking at the pew or at the pulpit that are talking to the main mic. You'll just be able to click on it and it'll just go right to your devices. You don't need a halo, you don't need a magnetic field, you don't need telecoil. I think it's really exciting.
This is the future.
It should come, it should be here. I mean, especially like religious environments, places that are predictable like that, or like a movie theater.
Yeah.
Go to Tuacahn. I think Auracast ready environments is coming quick, and how cool that last generation Resound devices had that. The Vivia has it as well.
It's the future. Even in our waiting room in our office, we're in the process of setting up. We have a television that plays some things and our patients love it, but we're setting it up so when you get into our office, in our waiting room, you can tap a little button on your phone and suddenly you're going to be hearing the TV right through your hearing aids.
I know.
And so can everyone else in the waiting room. You could have a dozen people in the waiting room all listening to the same show through their hearing aids.
It's pretty exciting.
This Auracast is cool.
I know.
I have a comment on this. It's kind of interesting. We've been hopeful that this Auracast is going to start rolling out in churches and theaters and different places. And Resound right now is kind of the leader with this. Mm-hmm. They're really pushing it. And when you're using Resound products, a Resound microphone, a Resound TV broadcaster, it works beautifully. In fact, the sound quality is so good.
Actually, much better than what we had before.
Much better.
I mean, it sounds more like a thick FM signel. Like it's a clean, like you're listening to the radio.
So
it's a really nice signal.
Here's where I've been disappointed. Other devices can create Auracast streams. Mm-hmm. So for example, my wife has a phone, it's a Samsung phone. It's the S24 Plus.
Oh, really?
And it can create, it's a new phone. Now they have a 25 that came out this month or in February of 25. But this 24 phone can create an Auracast stream. So she can play music from her phone. And then if I use my Samsung earbuds, we can both listen to her stream simultaneously.
Nice.
So I thought, this is awesome. I'm going to try it with the Resound Vivia. Mm-hmm. I'm going to have her create her stream. And I should be able to tap into this Auracast stream. Guess what?
Oh no.
It didn't work.
Not ready.
It would show up, it would say there's her stream, I would tap on it, and it would say connecting, and then it would just kick me right out. So something isn't quite ready, it's not quite lining up to be able to be used everywhere, but we're getting there. I'm sure they're going to work out these kinks.
Just the fact that it's showing up, and it serves like, I know we're getting,
we're getting
closer.
There.
So
we are.
Anyways, that was another really big plus with this new Vivia by Resound, is that it has this ability to pick up these Auracast broadcast signals. We think it's going to be a really, really exciting thing. I want to tell you one more thing, and the whole crowd in the conference center just erupted when they brought this out. They said, from now on, patients will be able to change their own mic filters. And the whole place went crazy. Like, you would have thought that was the biggest news. And the reason is it speaks to the idea that audibility really is king. We talk about the device making these changes and doing all these things, but if your device is consistently underperforming as a result of occluded, saturated, compromised microphone sensitivity, if the microphones aren't doing their job and the chip's not doing its job or the receiver's not producing, there are several moving parts in a hearing device that all of them have to be all systems go for you to get this wonderful, healthy, connecting lifestyle. If they're not working simultaneously, all working together, you don't have the right signal. And so one of the issues with making, I think, a device so small is that it allows it to maybe become compromised a little easier because everything's a little smaller. I mean, that's just my guess. And so this idea of what we've learned over the last year from really small rechargeable devices like Resound has had, this new device Vivia actually has these little microphone replacement filters where you just give the patient their own filters and they can just replace them whenever they want, so they get the very best sound quality. They also have filters for the tip that's inside the canal. So they have two different types of filters to allow for the very best, most robust, most complete signal to hit prescription targets as frequently as possible to allow for the best health. And so I mean, that was a really exciting thing, to say, hey, we're going to make sure those patients are in charge of getting the very best audible signal all the time.
Yeah, they're the only one of the three. So if we're looking at Resound VIVIA, the Phonak Infinio Sphere, and the Oticon Intent, only the Resound VIVIA allows the patient or the audiologist to change covers on the microphone, a little microphone filter.
That's right.
It's the only one that allows it. Which is really cool.
It's really cool.
I do have to say the other two products, they probably have fewer problems with the microphones. Their design is such that they have fewer issues.
And they're bigger.
But if you do have an issue, you've got to send it to the factory.
Send it in, and it puts the patient out.
Yeah, so there's some pros and cons.
Really exciting stuff. I mean, the idea of that these companies, I mean, Resound, I'll speak to that because that's what I just heard, is 13.5 million sound bites of different ways people sound in different levels of noise with different languages and different pitch ranges in their voice, different environments, different auditoriums versus, smaller rooms like this. It's pretty exciting to think you've got this little mini brain. They kept showing a brain up there and it said intelligent focus, and they were just trying to say, you're intelligent. We want to put you in charge as a person. Like, your brain is the most important, but we also want you to be able to focus on what you want to focus on. So that's why they called it intelligent focus. Pretty clever. Yeah. Now we get to see if it works.
That's right. I have a
because we don't have hearing loss.
No, that's right. We're trying it on patients right now, and every once in a while in the hearing aid industry, there's some things that come around that change the game.
That's right.
That really change things, and I have a feeling that this new AI stuff is that game changer, and we're just starting to see it in some of these new products. As we're comparing these heavyweights, I'd say the bottom line is they're all really good.
Yeah.
The Resound VIVIA, we have loved it. The Oticon Infinio Sphere has been great. And the, did I say Oticon?
Intent,
Phonak Infinio Sphere, the Oticon Intent. These are heavyweight champs. These are good products. And for people that need hearing aids, what a great time to have such good options that can really help you.
Come try them out. Come try them out. If you know somebody that has hearing loss, or maybe you are listening to this video and you're like, I think I need a heavyweight. I think I need to put the gloves on and start beating down that background noise. Come see which product works the very best, because you deserve it. You're worth it. You only have 2 ears. Let's take care of them and let's do our very best. How fun that we have these new technologies. Okay, everybody, we so appreciate you watching the video today. If you've liked what you've seen, please like it, subscribe to our channel. It means the world to us, but it also means the world to other people who are trying to figure out what's going on with their hearing health. So thank you for watching.